Welcome to the Kind of Nerdy Girls podcast. Fandom, fun, funny.
Kind of Nerdy Girls podcast.
Why don't we, for our fun fact, go around and talk about the first pet that we owned, name, type of pet, and what you loved about him. It'll be nice and heartfelt here. Katie, what you always just look like, what the hell?
Trying to remember my first dog's name.
Okay. Well, I will stress that we are only kind of nerdy and we do not fact check things. So,
Wow.
Make
Just
it
in
up.
case you want to get into my bank account, first dog's name, the street I grew up on.
I am not fishing for information to get into your bank account. I promise.
All we need is the last word of your social and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
My mother's maiden name.
Money, let me tell you what, I'm broke. I gotta take on these student loans though.
If
Get
you're
in,
gonna,
get
You
right
can
back
look
out.
all you want.
Put something in it while you're in there.
here's the thing: if you're gonna steal Johna's credit, could you at least make it a better score?
Thank you. I gotta
All right. Boo, 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 choo, pa, 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 ping, ping, poo, choo, 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 choo. Welcome to the Kind of Nerdy Girls podcast. Time to get kind of nerdy with girls. That's the name of the podcast. That's what we do. Woo, choo, 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 pow, pow, ping, 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 boop, 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 boop. Joining us today, it's Gamer Katie.
Hello. My first dog, her name was Precious, and she was a Dalmatian.
Oh, you had a donation.
Aw.
Yeah, which they're incredibly high maintenance, I learned later in life, because as a child, you don't care. And then we named her baby Treetop. Well, I did.
Oh, okay. Johna, woo, choo, choo, pow, pow, ping, ping, poo, poo, poo. She'll be telling us what's got Johna weeping in moments. But first, I don't think she's ever had a pet. We'll find out now. Johna, go ahead.
I have. Well,
Yeah?
it was okay. Well, the dog wasn't my dog. He was my sister's dog, but his
So
name
you
was
didn't have
Shiva.
a pet?
I had goldfish because they're very low maintenance.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. My goldfish was the lowest maintenance goldfish you'd ever met. His name was Lee from Rush Hour, obviously. And I had him for like 5 or 6 years. Like I left to go to college and then he died while I was at college.
Oh, no.
It was so
Oh.
sad. I legitimately cried because I'd had that fish for a very long time.
Oh,
So-
man.
It
I
was a
thought I
sad
had a
time.
goldfish for a long time, but he kept changing colors about every 6 weeks.
Nope, this was the same fish for 5 years.
Wow.
You guys
Yeah.
know at the radio station before you worked with me, I had a goldfish or something, some sort of fish.
It was like a tetra or something.
I had my beta for a while.
Yeah.
I got this goldfish. I named him Regis, and about a week after I got him, he had so many babies, and I didn't know how it happened.
Sounds like you should have named him Kelly instead of Regis.
Yeah.
Ba-da-bum, boo, boo, choo, 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 choo. Back by popular demand. Thanks for getting it trending on Twitter. Hashtag more Tia. It's Tia from Geek Vibes Nation. Woo-woo.
So I didn't have pets growing up. I actually inherited my boyfriend's pets when we moved in with each other about 5 years ago. He has 4 cats, so they then became my 4 cats. So, but the first one out of them was Apollo. So that was our baby. He's somewhere, and he's definitely the most friendliest cat. I mean, if you're a new person, you come over my house, whereas the other cats may run away, he just goes right up and just starts smelling you.
Aww. Love those cats. Yay.
and this is apparently Apollo just was plopped into my lap, but he walked away. And so-
It's like, I did not agree to this appearance. Check
No,
the
instead-
contract.
Yeah. This is not on my
Instead-
rider.
Instead, Lady wants to be here, which is my ride or die dog. I know we're all about the cats here, but this is my
Oh, no,
doggy.
Katie-
Oh no, we're all about the pets.
Yeah,
I
we're all
love
about the
dogs.
pets. We live vicariously through our dog friends because our cats have vetoed the idea of a dog, and so have the ducks and bunnies in the backyard. But Katie has Murphy.
My little fat boy.
We,
My
we,
godson.
we love Murphy, yes.
Murphy, that's a great name.
I didn't pick it. The shelter did.
From the kind of nerdy dudes, it's producer Patches.
Good morning. We had a parakeet when we lived in an apartment when I was a kid named Baby. She was blue and yellowish green head. She was gorgeous. But my first dog was a little beagle terrier named Muffin. So she was not long for the world because she had a rare brain tumor, but
Sad.
yeah, but
R.I.P.
she was so cute. She was such a good girl. So
I too had birds as a kid.
yeah,
Oh gosh.
I had peas and carrots.
yeah.
Nope.
Oh, I had Bonnie and Clyde, and then I'll get to my first cat. But Bonnie and Clyde loved each other very much for about 18 months, and then Bonnie killed Clyde and sat on the swing and sang about it very nicely. Like, I don't know what happened there. Like,
So she snapped basically what happened.
and then you guys, 3 days later, Bonnie died, and the vet said that it was probably because she was lonely. And I was like, well, she shouldn't have killed Clyde. To which he said, you probably shouldn't have named them Bonnie and Clyde. And I was like, fair
Sounds
enough.
toxic to me, but
Fair
An
enough.
episode of Snapped.
right, honestly, definitely an episode of Snap.
Snapped, the parakeet edition. And my name is KJ. And honestly, you guys, my first cat was named Kitty Cat because I was about, I don't know, 7 months old when I said my first word, and the kitty cat was sitting there, and I said kitty cat. So
Your
that,
first word, and you haven't
that-
changed.
oh yes. So I made a career out of saying kitty cat, and here I am. And you can find out more about that at petpalstv.com. But the first cat I remember naming, because I grew up on a farm, she was a saucy little calico and, farm life. I didn't know about spay and neuter till much later in life, but she had kittens all the time. Her name was Selma. And she was fat, so you never knew when she was having kittens and when she wasn't. It just kept happening.
Her
So
name should have been
Wait,
Michelle
that must have
Duggar,
been so traumatizing. You just walk in a room and she's just giving birth.
yes. Now she was
Nature.
So she was a farm cat. So she lived outdoors, but she always loved to have her kittens right under our stairs. We had like wood stairs up to our door, and you would just like walk out and you'd be like, damn, Selma.
I was like, your cat was really getting around outside. Huh?
Yes, very much.
She was
so.
having
She's
a
very
good old
popular
time.
with the boys.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Ooh, speaking of pets, wah, 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 wah. It's time for the Chris Evans update. Wah, 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 wah. Not a lot going on with Chris Evans in his career that I'm aware of, but Allie Raceman did clarify that they have been friends for a very long time and that their dogs are best friends. So do you guys remember, like, I don't know, maybe a few months back, people started getting all crazy because it's quarantine time. And then it's like, wait, Chris and Allie are hanging out together. So, like, and we should
picture him kissing the dog and all that
yes.
stuff. Yeah.
It was
it
so
was
great.
like
Johna
legit.
cried.
They've
I
been
did.
friends for
We-
so long that they couldn't keep their dogs apart during quarantine. I don't know. Tia, are you buying that?
No. Like the thing about Chris Evans throughout the years, and it's like I've been a fan of his since his Fantastic Four days, and it's like he's always been like really quiet about his love life, which is like it's fine as a celebrity, you are entitled to that, but it's like, come on, man, it's like you had to have had something going on in these years. Don't try and deny it.
Right. I mean, especially when you're Chris Evans, right?
Honestly.
I mean, just walk down the street and hi, I mean,
And
Hi.
we all know that Chris Evans is getting a lot of ass, okay? Like, let's just say it for what it is. But he's just not saying anything.
Wait, wasn't there like a whole thing months ago with like a certain photo getting leaked, and it's like, why do you have
you
that
weren't
photo
here
on
for
your
that.
phone? I wasn't here for that.
oh my God. Did that win the best kind of nerdy moment in the kind of nerdy
No, I
award?
don't think so. It
No.
should have, though. I voted for that one.
Tia, this is no kidding. This when that happened, it happened on September 12th. I know that date.
Wow.
because it was somebody's birthday that day.
It was my birthday.
What a
And-
great birthday present.
And
She hasn't even looked at it.
I will say I was conflicted because I have so much respect for him that I was like, this is the funniest thing that this is happening on my birthday, but I'm not going to look. So I
Whereas
still
me-
have not.
Whereas
yeah.
me getting on Twitter immediately and looking for it. I'm like, all right, where's it at? I know somebody tweeted it.
I wanted to be on KJ's level, but my curiosity was like,
yeah, so we recorded the kind of Nerdy Girls short right after that, the week after that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no kidding, it was a 20-minute conversation of Chris Evans crank. I mean, it was,
Chris Evans crank shot.
yep, the
Best
Chris Evans
episode
crank
ever.
shot. Yep.
well, I'm
Between
just
that-
saying that he has that on his phone for a reason.
Honestly,
Right.
you're right.
And from what I
whoops,
understand,
accidental.
Yeah.
from what I understand, it was a very artistic take on the crank shot, right?
Yep,
Like
black and white. Yep. took some liberties with it, but still good. A plus.
Gotta be artsy, I guess.
he took some time to get like the right lighting,
Right
and things
filters
like that.
on
I mean,
it
you
and
guys,
whatnot,
I
yeah.
respect Chris Evans, and this is as far as we're going with this. One more thing
Full
on
respect.
the Chris Evans update. I just want you to know that I love Lizzo, and I don't want to beef with her, but she did post a video this week of her and one of her friends twerking with a fake Captain America, and said that this was our latest quote official Chris Evans update. And I wanted to be like, I'm sorry, Lizzo. The Chris Evans update happens on the Kind of Nerdy Girls.
You
Like,
should get this trademarked.
we really need
Right.
to. I was like, hang on, like you can come on the Kind of Nerdy Girls and give your Chris Evans update, but you cannot
Yes,
steal
Lizzo,
that name.
please.
This
Please
is
come
our-
to the Kind of Nerdy Girls.
This is our
That'd be
intellectual
amazing.
property, but you're welcome to be a part of it, Lizzo. Before we get into Katie's gaming update, because I know Tia has some Grand Theft Auto stuff to talk about, and Katie finished Resident Evil, so that's going to be exciting to hear about. And Johna's got some weeping stuff, but I need to take a moment to talk about the life of a nerdy girl or dude who finds out that one of their favorite shows is canceled because
Oh my god.
Are we going about Firefly over again?
No.
It's always Firefly.
it's gonna come back to that because it has to. But Tia has been living the life of trying to bring back American Gods, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually, yesterday, I even went online and bought a shirt because I was like,
I love you.
I will
love
always
it.
wear this.
I was like this close to getting into that show, and then the cancellation rumors started, and I was like, I'm not having my heart broken. But Katie, to take it to where
Back
this
to
all comes
Firefly.
back to Firefly is that when
Fox
product
still sucks.
Oh, that's right.
so Prodigal Son comes out, right? And I'm like, this looks interesting. And I have always loved working with Tom Payne at the conventions, and I'm going to support this show. And then shortly after that, I got an opportunity to talk to him about it. And I'm like, this is all going well, but
Yep.
I'm still not watching it.
Yeah, they're
Because it's
filming season
Fox.
2 when you talk to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, when we're talking to him and he's talking about that they greenlit season 2, I'm like, oh, we're in the safe zone. I can watch this Fox show because they greenlit season 2 so fast that we've got a life with this show. So I get Patches watching it, and it's our thing.
Absolutely
And
love it.
We're like the people, like, we're not even like save up episodes so we can binge some. We're like, when's it on again? And we're going to watch every episode once a week because we love this show. And then those
Those MFs at
Just
Fox.
say it, those
Yeah.
assholes.
those MFers at Fox are like,
Isn't Fox now owned by Disney? Be careful.
sorry. I think Fox still operates.
Well,
No, I
I
don't think so. Right? Like
The
they
Fox
operate-
movie side is
Yep, okay,
owned
there
by
you go.
Disney.
Yeah, the TV is still like their own thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Don't upset Disney.
right?
so here we go. Tia, I haven't made it to buy the Prodigal Son shirt yet to bring it back, but I have been stalking the petitions and things that we need to do
I felt really bad because people really liked it. I mean, you are not the only ones who talked about it. I heard many people suggest it. I remember when The Prodigal Son had first casted Finn Jones in that role.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys knew that. And then Tom Payne came in. I was like, oh, this like looks really good. I was planning on getting to it. And then I go on Twitter and it's like, it's been canceled. And I said to myself, Fox just does not know how to keep shows, and I don't know what it is.
I don't either.
Netflix, pick up Prodigal Son.
Please. Yeah. Pull what you did with Lucifer and bring
Lucifer.
Prodigal Son to Netflix. Yes.
Please.
Well, and honestly, like if I'm a creator, I guess you go where. Well, that's someone who's trying to get their show on TV right now. No, Fox, you can't have it. But like I know you're going to go where the interest is to be greenlit, but this is not. I mean, it's become a thing. Like I would not trust Fox to be a supportive partner in keeping your show running, and that when we are in this world where on demand is the way that we consume, and you need to have good content on your network. If you think you're going to keep people watching it, why are you going to cancel your good content? Now, I get that there was some ratings stuff going on, but like, where were you in promoting this? Where were you in backing the show?
Things that aren't instant successes. Like if it's not just killing it season one, they're like, just kill it and move on. Try something different.
Which doesn't make sense because there's plenty of shows that have, say, maybe a questionable season one and then pick up and they're like really good. It doesn't make sense because you have networks like, and this is no shade because my mom loves this show, but you have networks that are renewing things like Young Sheldon for like 3 additional seasons and stuff. Like, you know, kind of like mindless shows that people put on after a hard day of work, but it's like shows that people actually get into. That's all it is. It's just the ratings game. And it's like us as fans, and this is my problem with the American Gods, right? It's like, I know that maybe the viewership wasn't as good as maybe the network wanted to, but the fan base, myself included, and others I know, love the show. And we're like, we only needed one more season. We only need one more season to wrap up the story. And Starz was like, nope.
And I think
that's frustrating.
The same thing, Tia. I will say with this show, I don't think that it could go 7-8 seasons. I think this is a 3 season.
4 at most.
At most.
But
I think, that there's only so many things you can do here with, with this family and being murderers. Like, are we just going to break, like, is mom going to murder someone? And then
the cast is fantastic. I mean, hell, Tom Payne, Michael Sheen. I mean, these guys are fantastic actors. I mean, they brought in Catherine Zeta-Jones this season. I mean, and I feel bad for Juan, your partner over at Geek Vibes, because I know he really likes Prodigal Son as well, and it's just like all the people that actually like good character development, they're getting screwed, and I think that's what network TV is really lacking. Like, and maybe it's a societal thing that people don't have patience for character development and telling that long story anymore. They want that 10 episode, just binge it real quick. And it's, I mean, I don't know. Do you think it's people are just impatient now that they're not willing to put the time in now? And that's what's screwing it.
But with this show in particular, you didn't have to be patient about anything. It took off. Like you were hooked in the pilot and you understood these dynamics and you wanted to see more, and the cast was bringing it. So I don't get where either the audience, I don't believe the audience fell off. I just don't. And maybe there's something with the pandemic and not being able to shoot the way that they wanted to and not get the momentum going into the second season, getting it out as quickly as they wanted to. But
I mean, season 2, even when it came out, it's been moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem is that these networks are unrealistic, that not everyone sits down to watch something at the exact same time every week. Right. Some people wait. Like, when I don't really watch the CW shows that much anymore, but when I really wasn't watching them per week. I was waiting for them to come out on Netflix and then watching the things because, that's just life. And especially with restrictions lifting, people are getting back to work. It just doesn't seem realistic to say, oh, well, people aren't sitting at home and watching this every week. It's like, it's just BS.
Well, and I
Well,
think
and-
that's where you go into like looking at NBC and what they're doing with Peacock. It's like they are recognizing this and they are making the adjustments to stay relevant. I don't know that Fox has that plan. And if you're living in this world where you think we're all sitting down as a country on, for must see TV on Thursday nights, we're not.
with
and
our
I-
TV dinners and our tabletops and everything.
Right.
Right. Well, and
Background
there's
children.
right. Well, and I think and we do this with several shows. We'll let shows build up in the DVR, and then like on Sunday we'll watch 3-4 episodes at a time too. So we
I do
become
that.
a binge society as well.
Yeah, like we know that Legends of Tomorrow is back right now, and we love that show, but we're waiting for it to build up a little bit, and then
Yeah.
we'll have a Sunday night. Like,
We're gonna fire off episodes one after the
sits
other.
down and says, "What's on TV tonight?" You sit down and go, "What do I want to watch?" And you pick.
I'll
what's
tell
on
you. I'll tell
demand.
you who. My 70-year-old parents on every Wednesday night when they're watching the Chicago shows on NBC. Like,
Oh my
it's
God, that's
Wednesday.
my-
We're gonna do that.
Is that your
Patrick,
parents too?
that's my mom and dad. I'm sorry. that
Yeah,
just made
my
me
mom and
laugh.
dad
It's like-
too.
Mine too.
I mean, but-
the Chicago shows, Blue Bloods. It's like
Right.
that's that demographic, and it's like
Yeah.
I get
Love-
it. There's
I love
a
those shows, though.
no, it's amazing if you
Yeah,
love those
I'm
shows,
for
but
it.
it's like as everyone is saying, it's just those demographic of people who sit down and watch it. But for a lot of people, they do what Patrick and KJ do. They wait, for a few episodes to come out, and then they just binge that shit.
I am sorry, Tia, but if you're going to be on this show, you have to call him producer Patches. No one
I'm
knows
so-
that his name is Patrick.
Oh, poor shit.
It's one of those things where it's like he was introduced to me as Patrick, so
I
I'm
know.
like,
Right.
Patrick.
Yeah.
I know.
It took me a while too.
Oh, Tia, I have so many names. Like growing up, I was called Mac, and then when I moved down to Central Indiana, people called me Pat, and then it's back to Patrick, and then Patches, and I've got Papaw Patches now too from
Oh,
my
yes.
youngest nephew. So that's
Papaw. You can also call him Papaw Patches if you would like, Tia.
yeah.
I thought about this like halfway through probably the MCR when Juwan kept calling him Patrick. And I'm like, at what point do I tell Juwan that like literally are people
It's
tuning
Patches.
in call him Patches? Like they don't even like, who's this Patrick guy? Like
Yeah.
it would be like
And he
it's
he
like
slowly adapted to it to where it was Patches.
yeah, it's
it was
like
funny. I was just like,
occasionally someone on the show will call me Carrie, and I'm like,
Who's Carrie?
who's Carrie?
right.
You're KJ, right? And to the
Yes.
point where when I think it's on your Facebook and it says Carrie, and I'm like, who is this? And
Right.
Yes.
I was like, oh, this is KJ. Never mind.
And Tia, like Facebook will not let me change my name to KJ. You can't have initials, or if you do, you have to make it like capital K period, small j period. Like it looks terrible to where I'm like, I am not agreeing to this Facebook until you just let me put a K and a J as my first name. Why
Thanks,
can't
Mark
I have that?
Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
I was just thinking. Do you guys remember MySpace, by the way, when you could
Oh,
just
hell
pick
yeah.
any name as your
I miss my
username,
top
and then you
8
get on?
friends.
I do too.
You guys know you can still log into your MySpace?
Yeah,
Like
It
my
I
looks
top 8 friends are
completely
like
different
mostly
now.
gone.
it's so
I tried
different.
going on MySpace, and it's really like a music place now, as opposed to what
Yes.
it really is. So
Well,
I
it
just
started
miss the
out
old
very
MySpace.
much about music. Like you put your favorite song, remember? Like you had your like soundtrack that
Like your
played.
banner
yeah,
on your
yeah.
page. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish Facebook would do that. Click on my profile, start
It's-
playing my
Facebook is too boring for that.
Yeah.
Right.
That is so
I would definitely
true.
get a message from my mom being like, what the hell?
Woo, choo, 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 pow, pow, ping, 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 boop, 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 boop. Oh, it's time for a gaming update with Gamer Katie. Boop,
Oh, hey
boop,
guys.
boop, boop, boop.
So I finished Resident Evil in 3 days.
Yay!
Yay!
That's impressive.
And
Man.
honestly, it was so
Way to not
good.
participate in society for 3 days.
Let me tell
Yay!
you, it was so worth it. I loved Village. It was so much fun.
Tell
So
us
it-
about it.
Okay, so I don't know how much you guys actually know about Resident Evil, but
Nothing.
it's kind of zombies, kind
Okay.
of biological warfare, evil overarching company that just regularly destroys things,
And is
And
the
they-
game based on the movies or the movies based on the game, or do they have...
Movies based on the games.
Okay, thank you.
So the last few and the remake of 2 and I think 3, they've shifted from this like third person kind of whatever to first person horror games, which I really like. I think they're very fun. I love horror games. This one, Resident Evil Village, is the 8th one. It's a direct sequel to 7, which was Biohazard. So 7 was this guy, Ethan, gets an email from his wife, Mia, who's like, oh, I'm gone. Bye. Also, don't come look for me. So he has to go find her in Louisiana. And it's like this family that's like, it's mold, which ends up becoming what the zombies are and all that. So it's like all connected. But she actually works for a secret government organization trademark that like has to do with this kind of stuff and just didn't tell him. So it's like regular normal guy has to go after his wife and stuff. So it's really good. So happy ending. They all get out, whatever. Somewhere in between, they have a kid. Resident Evil 8 starts. They shoot your wife and take your kid, as I told you last time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was the other day, I was like, I wonder if Katie's found her baby yet.
I did. It took me 3 days. So Chris Redfield, he's like the main guy in a lot of these games. He's like the special agent, fights the zombies, whatever. He's been the protagonist for like so long. He's the one that shoots your wife. I'm like, Chris, how could you?
Oh my gosh, the twist.
I know. It was, and I was so like personally offended at the beginning of the game. So now regular trademark guy Ethan has to go find his baby now because his wife's dead and like all that kind of stuff. So he ends up in this like vaguely Eastern European village where everyone has an American accent. So that was kind of weird. But so they're like, they worship this lady named Mother Miranda. She's kind of like the god of this area or whatever. And she has these 4 lords that all serve under her and they each do like a different thing. So you got to like work your way up. You got to kill all the lords. You got to fight Mother Miranda to get your kid back because she's the one that took your kid for unknown reasons until you get right to the end of the game, which I love that about Resident Evil is that it's right at the end.
In the gaming world, are spoilers allowed?
It depends. I'm trying not to spoil because it's been out for a week.
Okay. All right.
Oh, Jesus.
So everything that you're telling us, is someone right now going like cussing at you, like because
you're gonna have to fight the 4 lords and whatever, because that's like the entire build-up. That's the trailer of the game and whatever. But it gets real good right at the end.
All right.
It gets real juicy. It gets all M. Night Shyamalan. It gets a little crazy, but it's so good. My favorite part about this game is how they make the monsters. Like it's the level design and the music and what they put into these games is so well done that like these monsters, you can tell what they are before they transform and become monsters. But at the same time, like it has these identifying features that have always been Resident Evil monsters, like tons of eyes and, kind of tentacle-y, gross, very Lovecraftian kind of. When you finish the game, it opens up all the bonus content. So like there's extra gameplay stuff, there's different difficulties, but there's also like the art, the concept art and things like that. And I really love that stuff. So I was like filtering through that at the end of the game. And it has all the like, here's how we designed this character and what we thought we were trying to go for with this. And here's how we came up with the idea for this. And here's the inspiration we got for this castle and whatever. And I think all that stuff's really fascinating.
It is not very often that Katie likes things. So
oh my gosh,
are
it's
excited
so
about that. That's how good Resident Evil 8 is. Katie loved it.
I love it.
All right. Now, before we started recording, like Tia got here and she's like, Katie, I got to tell you, I've been playing Grand Theft Auto. And I was like, no. That's for the gaming update.
KJ literally stopped me. She was like, no.
So
she never lets us have any
she
fun.
like mom armed you, like on that one,
that's
right?
No, I did the finger shake in the air. I was like, no. All right, please, Tia.
I just wanted to tell Katie that I finished Grand Theft Auto 5. I haven't completed it 100% because it's like there's so many little things that you can do. I'm on like 80%, but I finished the main story. But I wanted to say that I then went and started playing GTA 4. So now
I love GTA 4.
I am loving GTA 4. It's a little like, graphics wise, obviously not as crisp as GTA 5, but it's like I'm loving the story, I'm loving the gameplay, and it's like the only thing that frustrates me is I don't know if you remember, but GTA 4, it's like if you fail a mission, you have to do the entire thing all over again as opposed to like just sections, and that's a little frustrating. But overall, I'm really loving GTA 4.
There were 4 was the one with Nico, right?
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There were 2 things I loved about 4. One was you could turn the gravity off on the cars so they would like slide across the road as you tried to play.
I didn't know that.
Which is so fun.
Ooh, you just gave Tia something to do
like,
today.
if you turn it off, like the traction or whatever, like you get in the car and it just instantly flips upside down because physics. And you know, they're like sliding across the road and people are like flying through traffic, and it was so fun. And then I loved / hated going bowling with your cousin every 5 minutes. Yes.
There's every moment where I'm like in the middle of a mission, Nico's having to go like, you know, take someone out or freaking, you know, steal something.
Hey,
and Roman's
cousin.
like, hey, cousin.
Let's go bowling.
And can you tell me that doesn't Roman sound just like Borat? Like, I'm like, they clearly didn't get anyone who's of actual Eastern European descent to play these characters. They were just like,
I think that's like the appeal, right?
Yeah.
It's like so trash that, you know, like it's so unbelievable. Hey, cousin, let's go bowling. You know,
let's go bowling. This is America.
And I'm not even joking. It's every
Italian.
5 minutes. Every 5 minutes.
Italian.
You just finished bowling with him, and he wants to go bowling again.
Johna, that's what it sounds like, a mix between Borat trying to do an Italian accent, but they're from Serbia. So it's
love it.
God.
But that being said, I
miss
do
GTA
love the
4.
game. I do love the game, and I love the main character. And I never hear anyone talk about GTA 4. Like when you are on YouTube, everyone's like GTA 5, San Andreas, and it's like,
San
where's
Andreas
the love for 4?
4 was
The
like
graphics.
had a special place in my heart because it was just so silly all the time.
It was a super extra.
Yeah, and it was like the
It was
first
just-
GTA that I played because I'd go over to my neighbor's house and we'd play it like when no parents were watching.
Obviously.
Yeah, you need to have no parents watching. There's some very adult content.
And I worked at GameStop when GTA 5 came out, and my favorite thing was warning parents about that game.
Oh, really?
Man,
I used
do
to
you
like
know-
intentionally ruin kids' lives because like your 12-year-old would come up and be like, slide GTA across the counter. And I'd be like, ma'am, do you know what's in this game?
Okay,
It's like a racing game, right? I'm like, no, Karen. It is not a racing game.
That has
That's what
to
you
be
think it was about.
That has to be a GameStop thing because my friend Brittany also did the same thing.
Oh,
I was gonna say because like from playing GTA 4 and playing GTA 5, like really quick, if you go to a strip club in GTA 4, it's like, you know, they're wearing skimpy stuff, but they're still
Like
wearing
bikinis
stuff.
or whatever. Yeah.
Right. But if you go to a strip club and you do a private dance in GTA 5, they show everything. And I'm
Full
like,
nudity.
No kidding. Wow.
Not even that. Like when we got this game, we got a little piece of paper like in the box that was like, hey, here's all the stuff you need to warn parents about. Because it was like the worst game ever. So I would get that little twinkle in my eye. I'm like, Karen, let me tell you about what's in this racing game you thought.
I'm going to ruin your kid's life.
Here's
Yay.
what
And every single time the kid gives you the look like, shut up, don't say it. You know, I want to see the nudity in the strip club. Bro, you're 12. Not going to
I'm
happen.
going home.
Not on my watch.
I want this to happen at PopCon. I hope there's somebody listening to this right now who's connecting the dots, and I want you to walk up to Katie at PopCon and be like, you are the reason I didn't get to play GTA.
God, I hope so. Because
All
my
my
favorite
friends.
part was not even warning him about the nudity. There's like a straight up torture scene in the middle of the game where the guy's torturing a guy with a car battery.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, hey, did you know your little racing game for your 12-year-old has actual torture in it? And then they're like, that's kind of like disconcerting. Oh, and also there's naked ladies. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I draw the line at nudity, but torture.
I draw the line at naked ladies.
They should probably see some torture at this
And
age.
then they're like, how come they don't
Movies,
warn parents
no.
about this? I'm like, it has an M on the box.
Rated M for mature.
And I love like Katie, just like your reaction, just taking so much pride in crushing like the hopes of these kids.
I had a kid cry in the corner of the store for like 20 minutes. then he kept like giving me the glare, and I'm like, "You're like 12. No, stop it."
Oh, all right, Johna, are you ready? Speaking of crying, for choo 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 choo, pow 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 pow, ha, ha, ha. It's time for what's got Johna weeping.
We good?
Yep.
How many cups of coffee is this today?
We done crying? KJ's like, it's like 15. I don't know, maybe.
I lost count after 11.
After I got home from work last night, I was like, oh, I heard there was an SVU and a Law and Order Organized Crime crossover on Thursday night. And I was like, what? I'm so excited. So I stayed up way past my bedtime. I stayed up till midnight last night so I could watch this crossover on Hulu.
Nice.
And so, like, we all know that Christopher Maloney, my first Chris, the love of my life. He's just, he's still such a babe. It's all like as old as he is. I just love him so much.
Remind me, so Organized Crime is the show that he is back on. That's the new show. Okay, all right, thank you. So now we're crossing over
for season 2.
Well, that doesn't mean anything because Prodigal Son is gone. But
No, they're on NBC.
Fox,
They're on NBC.
All right,
There's a better
Oh,
chance.
they're in the safe zone. Okay,
And I want you to know that SVU has been going on for 22 seasons.
Holy hell!
So
amazing.
So I have
All
lots
right,
of
so
hope.
the-
And
Next
renewed, I think, to season 24, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think so too.
Jesus.
So the
SVU is a really
crossover
good
made
show.
you cry, Johna? The crossover brought you to tears?
Yeah, because so like Liv and Elliot, like, because they were partners for such a long time, and now they're trying to like figure out like how to be friends again because they hadn't talked for like 10 years when he came back. And he's trying to figure out like who murdered his wife, and then like the whole crossover episode like leads into the organized crime where Dylan McDermott's character, Richard Wheatley, which God love Dylan McDermott, just A+ acting for this rich douchebag character. Like mob boss character, just A+ work for him. But like there's a scene where you see Elliot go to, I'm not going to spoil it because I don't know who all was watching it, but he goes to someone's apartment, whose apartment he should not be at. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I know exactly what's about to happen here because I've watched so much TV in my life that I can like see it happening. And I'm like, oh no. I was like, he's going to go and he's going to have relations with this lady. And she's like a terrible, oh my God. She's not like a terrible person, but like, she is just not the person that he should be with at this point in time. I mean,
Were you like, you were being like his mom at that point? Like you should be making better choices.
Yes, he should be making, he went through a significant trauma and he is not thinking straight, like, and he's not getting help for his PTSD. So I know that he is having a lot of feelings and problems and that he's not working through. So I think that he just thinks that this person is going to be good for him. And she's not. She is terrible. I hate her the most. And now I hate her even more because at the end of the episode, you find out that she did some stuff, which is why he's in the situation that he's in. But
she's trying so hard to not spoil this.
It's so hard.
Yeah, please, because I haven't seen it yet. So.
Okay, stop. Okay, Johna, we're going to stop it right there. How many sniffles do you give this?
No, okay. He just like makes out with this character that he's not supposed to be making out with. Okay, and I'm just sitting there and you can see like, you know, the build up, like the music build up, and you can see them leaning towards each other and stuff. And I'm just sitting there in my bed. I'm like, no, oh my God, no, please, dear God. No, oh my God, no, don't do that. And like my windows are open in my bedroom. And I'm like, God, I hope nobody's walking past my house. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do it. I'm like, you did it. Oh no.
The police can't come to your house. Like the neighbors are worried because
Johna, do you remember like seasons ago, like probably season 8, when Liv like wasn't in a few episodes because I think Mariska was like pregnant in real life, and then Elliot got that new partner, and that was when him and his wife were like separated, and then he had and that was the same way where I was like, what are you doing, Elliot?
Oh my-
Stop this.
I know. I'm just like, come on, man. I know you and your wife are on the outs right now, but you guys aren't divorced. You guys are still together. You're trying to work on it.
And it's
they've
like,
got,
you just got this girl as a partner, and yeah, they have like 5.
They have so many kids.
So many kids.
But I was like, and like, I feel like not that I want it to happen, but like the hopeless romantic in me hopes that him and Liv are going to get together like eventually. But like, I know that they're not going to do that to those characters because Liv has come such a long way since he left, and like a lot of stuff's happening to him and like all of this stuff. But I was sobbing when he started making out with that chick. I was like, why? Why are you doing this to me? This is the worst thing ever. And then he finds out some shit about her at the end of the episode. And I was like, oh, don't you feel real bad now? Why don't you listen to me? Damn it.
So were you like, I feel like, were you angry crying? Is this what happened?
where does
I was,
You were
angry,
so
I was
mad?
angry crying because I
Okay.
was very upset that he was making out with this character that he does not need to be making
So
out with.
how many angry sniffles did you give it?
All of them.
All the angry sniffles.
All the angry
Wow.
sniffles.
All
I was
right.
very upset.
Sorry to bore you, Katie.
I know. Right.
Katie doesn't care about that.
All right. Well, thank you, Johna. It's time
welcome.
for binges and books. Binges and books. Binges and books.
Oh, God.
Binges and
Here it
books.
comes.
Binges and books. Binges and books. Binges
I mean, we
and
already said it.
bitches. I said it much sooner than I usually do. It's time for binges and books. Whoop, whoop. Binges and books. Let's start with producer Patches.
Oh, I have been binging. Oh God, what was the show? It was
I don't know.
Sick Note. It was
Knock that
Sick
in
Note on Netflix. It was Nick Frost, and he's a completely incompetent doctor. And Ron Weasley, what's his name? Rupert Grint.
Grant, yeah.
Yeah. So they're the
Ron
two.
Weasley.
Yeah.
That's
Ron
a great
What's his
cast.
name?
I've never heard of this show.
Yeah, it was on Netflix. It came out in 2018, but it came up as a suggestion for me, and so I started watching it when I was in the office at lunch. So it was a quick 10 episodes. So you're like, all right, cool. I mean, it's very irreverent and like just very dumb, but like I love Nick Frost because he's the clueless, like incompetent oaf doctor. And he it's fantastic. I just love Nick Frost, period.
Is it more than one season?
I don't know if no, it's 2 seasons. I'm sorry. It was just 2 seasons. And then so I just blew through those real quick.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I honestly have nothing to offer. The only thing I binged is watching the rough cut of the new Paranormal Crossroads show over and over this week. So.
That's a good binge.
Well, but it was binge worthy and binge work. So, Katie, you got a binge or a book?
I'm keeping up with The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm also almost done with season 4 of Castlevania that just came out like Friday. So
Nice.
Okay, Castlevania. And that was
another video game turned series.
it came up as a suggestion
Oh,
for me.
It was on the masthead when we logged into Netflix.
Let me
So-
tell you.
Is that
This show is
something that
so
I would
good.
enjoy?
Okay, you don't have to know anything about video games to
Okay.
like this show. So it's Trevor Belmont comes from a long family of Belmonts. They're monster hunters. This town just decides to kill Dracula's wife because, they're awful people and she actually didn't do anything wrong, but she's a woman practicing medicine, so we can't have that.
Mm.
So they killed her, and then he's like, we're not doing that. And he just destroyed the town.
Nice.
Eviscerated it, just started killing all humans. So they're fighting monsters or whatever. So Trevor Belmont teams up with this, she's like a wizard, kind of. She's like does magic or whatever, and Dracula's kid, and they all have to kill Dracula, right? So then they kill Dracula, and now the newest season, people keep trying to bring Dracula back from the dead, right? So they're like, can't have that. So now we got to kill all these guys too.
Johna has questions.
Excuse me. Did you say Dracula's child?
Yeah, and his name is Alucard, which is Dracula backwards.
Yes.
Of course, Dracula would do that.
Come on, that's
Yeah,
his
right?
lazy
He's in
character
this like
writing.
ridiculous castle that just flies and whatever, and he's like got all these vampire lords and whatever, and these three guys just rock up and like wreck the place, right? But it's so like they're so snarky and they're so like passive aggressive to each other that the banter between them is hilarious. Like they made this show so good, and I was so afraid because video game shows don't work out really.
Mhm.
But this one is so good. It's so snarky, and like the episodes go so quick since it's like an animated series. It's so good.
Yeah, the only thing I remember about Castlevania was the original Nintendo game, and it was this,
Yeah, with the whip.
Yeah, it's just like.
Yeah, his weapon is still a whip, so he's
Yeah.
like beating people and vampires with a whip.
Yeah, and you had like little bats like arcing at you, and you gotta
Yep.
snap them with the whip.
Pretty much the series. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Johna, you got to binge or a book?
A binge.
Okay.
That's for you.
No.
Don't get her
I did not
going again.
binge SVU.
Yeah.
She's gonna.
Last week when we talked to Tia, she said to watch Who Killed Sarah.
Ooh.
And let me tell you what, I watched
Who
that
killed
shit,
Sarah?
and it was. We don't know.
You don't know
We
yet.
don't know. All we know
Can't even
is
spoil it. No
all we
spoilers.
kind of know is how she died, but like the teaser into season 2 kind of looks like she's not dead, and I'm like, but wait, why not? I thought she was already dead, and I thought we were gonna like, no, okay, but it was really good. Like, even though it's like, and y'all know I love a good telenovela, so
Oh yeah.
brushing up on my Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's so many weird things going on in the show that you're just like, okay, I wasn't expecting that to happen. I definitely wasn't expecting that to happen. Like the very first episode, the like daughter from like the family that the guy is trying to get revenge on, she like immediately turns on her family and's like, yeah, I'm gonna help you get revenge on them. And I was like, where's your loyalty at?
Because
Like,
she's
you
Not here.
she saw Manolo Cardona and she was just like, screw my family.
Yeah, that is fine. I will say that.
No puedo. No.
I was like, you know what? Honestly, me too.
I wasn't like Johna and I were talking back and forth a little about Who Killed Sarah, and like I am not fluent in Spanish. I know maybe like 5 words. And so I've never watched a telenovela. So Johna's like, oh yeah, this is kind of like on par for telenovelas. I'm like, then telenovelas are crazy because like
They're great.
there's so many like things in this that I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yep, that's what telenovelas are. That's exactly they all have like the same kind of formula, and you think this happened, but then like I'm waiting for someone to be like, oh, I had amnesia, because that happens in every telenovela I've ever seen. There's always an evil twin.
And you're like, she's like, what if there's a twin? And I was like, I didn't even think of that.
Oh man,
There's always a twin. Come on.
there's always an evil twin. Someone always gets amnesia. The villain that you think is dead is not dead. Like
Someone ends
like
up
a whole thing.
pregnant. Someone, yeah, everything.
God
Yeah.
forbid.
Well,
They
yeah,
get a full
that is
face
true, too.
transplant. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
the whole time
Yes.
it was actually this person, but they look different. Oh, yeah.
I'll
yeah.
tell you that one, it's a telenovela, but it's Americanized with Gina Rodriguez. It's called Jane the Virgin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It has all of those things in it, but it is fantastic. And it's not all in Spanish either. It's mostly in English.
Is there a cat that needs to jump in for binges and books?
Oh my god, that's my cat Jupiter in the kitchen.
Aw. Oh, you got Apollo and Jupiter. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No,
It's like
it's hysterical.
because they were my boyfriends beforehand. It's like they're so attached to him that it's like if he's just standing somewhere, they're like, "Hey, attention, right here,
Yeah.
Right here.
Aw.
right here."
Right here.
Tia, do you have a binge or a book this week?
I don't necessarily have either, but I wanted to say that I've been trying to get into the show Snowpiercer because I'm a really big fan of the movie. Like,
Yeah.
of course, with our man Chris Evans.
Yeah.
I think Johna watched that movie.
But directed by Bong Joon-ho, Oscar
So good.
winning. So it's like I love the movie and I'm trying to get into the show, but it's like I don't know. There's something about when you have like a movie and they're like, let's make a show about it, but we're not going to have like the original creative team. We're not going to have any of the original in it. And it's like, it just feels like not so connected, if that makes sense. But I
Yes.
want to be into it because people really like it. But I'm like, are you a fan of the movie? You know, or
Yeah.
is this your first time kind of hearing about this story? So that's my thing. It's like aesthetically, it's not capturing that Bong Joon-ho feelings for me, at least.
so
That's
good.
what I wondered about it. Same thing where I'm like, I love this movie so much. And, you know, knowing that it was not the same team, not the same cast, like, I'll just keep thinking about, you know, all the performances from the movie and comparing it and
And the
going,
thing-
it's not that.
And the thing is, like, you guys know the movie is set 17 years after like the whole Ice Age thing, right?
Mhm.
And the show is supposed to be 7 years after the Ice Age. So, you
Before
know,
the freak out.
right, exactly. And not once do they mention Curtis. And I'm like, I thought Curtis was like a big thing in the
Everything.
movie.
Yeah.
Everything. And they don't even mention his character at all.
Huh.
So it's just kind of like weird to me, but I want to like it because Stephen Ogg is in it. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know, Stephen Ogg's that kind of actor that I'm like, he needs some love because it's like people only really know him from either The Walking Dead or GTA 5. And I'm like, I want to support like actors that aren't necessarily mainstream, but I
Yes.
don't know.
And he's a sweetheart. Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. So I will tell you that the only thing that I've gotten to this week, also not because not binging, is the book. I'm in the Throne of Glass series with.
Listening to the first book.
The first book is fantastic. I'm in the second book, and I get so they're expanding the universe. So like they have come out of the basic kingdom that she was in, and she has to go to another land, and so they're introducing all of these new characters, and you're learning about a different space, and I'm having a hard time with it, almost to the point I'm midway through the second book where I'm like, if they don't get back to like, because Johna, I told you you're gonna love it because there's this like love triangle going on, and they do a good job of you being conflicted about like, do I want her to be with him, or maybe I want her to be with him?
Well, I mean, literally, like page 1 of the first book, I was like at work listening to it, and I was like, okay, so there's like some instant chemistry here between her and this prince. Okay, all right, I got it. Like page 1, I was like,
and
okay.
then in the second book, because they all get separated for various, like there's the evil is brewing, and they all have to kind of be separated. So none of those characters are together. So you're getting glimpses into what is going on with them, but then there's also this whole other story of these new characters, and I know it's building up for them to all come back together and have these witches that are going to be a big part of this, but right now it's really disconnected, and I'm just like, can I get to the part where she's like back with the dudes and trying to figure out what's going on and who she's going to pick, because it's not there right now. So I'll keep you posted. I'm pushing through it because everybody has said it's such a great series that I'm giving it this like, okay, second book. Sometimes you have to like give them some leeway to develop the whole story and expand it a little bit more. But I'm right at the point where I'm like, you better get to it here, lady, or this is the end of my Throne of Glass book reading.
I'm almost done. I'm done.
I am almost done. A couple of things that I wanted to mention that news this week. We got the news that Enola Holmes 2 is happening, and that Millie Bobby Brown is confirmed coming back, and Henry Cavill is coming back.
She has to come back. She is Enola Holmes.
Well, I mean, he didn't have to come back because they did make him they wrote him just enough that he was important
Oh
in her,
no,
but didn't overstep.
Can
I
I
was
like
talking about
confess?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yes, Kate, go ahead.
I'm sorry, John. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're
I was
fine.
just going to say, I wasn't the biggest fan of Enola Holmes. I watched it, and to me, the only thing that I liked about it was Henry Cavill.
I get that, girl.
Well,
You know,
that
when
is
it's like,
why.
he's gonna be Sherlock. I was like, oh great. You know, we had Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock, we had Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock, and now we have Henry Cavill as Sherlock. I was like, the Sherlocks keep winning. And then I was like, I don't really care about Enola Holmes. I'm sorry, go away.
That's why I didn't watch it.
Oh, Katie.
I was like, there's way too many like Sherlock adaptations and whatever. Like way too saturated by it. I just wasn't even interested.
What I
And
think
the BBC
that
one
you-
is still the best.
Oh yeah.
Word.
So,
what I think that where I like where this is heading with the second one, and that I think that you will enjoy more, Tia, is that he will have a bigger role in this. Like it's going to be more of a mentorship now, a partnership, where I think that they really, really wanted to make sure in the first one that it was like, you are not getting a Sherlock Holmes movie. You are getting another character story. And now that we understand her and where she came from, we can explore what she and him can do together.
I hope that they don't make it all about him, though.
No,
'cause
I don't think that they
is-
will.
Well, that's kind of what I thought they were gonna do with, when they said that, she's Sherlock Holmes' little sister. I was like, God, this is gonna be all about Sherlock Holmes, and not that I don't love Sherlock Holmes, but I don't want it to be all about him because he's got enough movies and TV shows and books. So I think a new character would be great. But I think that now, since they're teaming up in the second movie, that hopefully they don't make the mistake of just making it all about him and just kind of moving Enola's character like to the side.
I don't think
She's
so.
a
What
good
I would
character
like
that
to
needs good
see,
development.
what I would like to see is that Sherlock gets in some sort of situation where he's stumped, he needs help, and we're seeing her come in and be almost what he needs to continue to do what he's doing. So I mean, I think as sensitive as they are to that in telling the story and when they developed it, that they'll continue to be sensitive to that, but we're still going to get more Sherlock Holmes in this one. We just are. So I was excited about that. And then the Knives Out casting is freaking
Ooh, it's
crazy.
picking up, man.
like how
Yeah.
many people can they put in this movie?
Ryan
You gotta
Johnson is
remember
looking to
that-
outdo the first one.
But I love
the first one. The cast was all star, so I mean they got to have a really good cast for the second one too.
Well, true, but I mean, I think they had just enough, right, of like the older Hollywood and younger Hollywood. I think now I would be scared of he's trying to oversaturate the cast with too many people to where it might fall flat.
Can't wait for Johna's favorite Daniel Craig accent to come back.
But wait, add to that, are we going to get Dave Bautista with a terrible Southern accent
I
as
hope
well?
so. God, I hope so.
I hope not. I'll cry. I'll walk
Without
out of
him
that
whatsoever,
theater.
weeping.
That'll be part of your weeping.
Honestly.
That's called show prep.
But Dave Bautista, Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe. Who else? There was one more that I keep forgetting that they announced this week.
Catherine Hahn.
Catherine
Yes,
Hahn.
Catherine
Why do
Hahn.
I keep forgetting her? I'm so excited that she's
It's
gonna
always
be
Agnes.
yeah, always.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
Agatha.
Yeah.
Oh,
Agnes. Yeah, sure.
Agatha all along,
Agnes.
Katie. There you go.
I don't know where I got Agnes.
Hashtag always Agnes.
I'm not sure where I got that, but I will stick with it.
I think that because Catherine Hahn is always like such a minor character in things that you kind of do forget that she's actually like a serious actress.
She's been in a lot of
Like
stuff.
I would love to see what she's gonna do in Knives Out too. Like I really want to.
Where are they going to go with this? They already solved the mystery or whatever.
My man already in jail. God,
Yeah.
what else can they
Because
do?
he's a bad guy.
Just wait till they flash him in jail in Prison Orange.
Ooh, can't wait.
I mean, that
Oh.
sweater was pretty great.
The sweater
He's gonna
was
have a
so
beard and everything. Oh, I can't wait.
They better put him
And then
back
it was
in.
a tea bag. So, like,
yes,
That was
Tia.
fine.
Exactly. Like the thing is, every time that they do some casting news, I'm like, "Where's my Chris Evans announcement?"
Honestly,
Like this is
little
great.
cameo
Okay,
from jail.
yay Batista, yay
It could be
Catherine
like-
Hahn.
It could be like a Hannibal thing where like Daniel Craig has to go to the prison and get Chris
Have to use them to find the next bad guy.
Oh,
Exactly.
I love it.
All right, and one more thing that was in the headlines this week that I did not see the new Venom trailer, but
don't be excited about it because I wasn't.
I was so
Finally, some agreement.
They didn't
All
care
right.
less about Venom.
Katie and
Shut
Tia,
up, Johna.
have your Venom moment because Jonah and I are not.
Shut up,
Having it.
Johna.
I wanted to bring up the new Venom trailer specifically to trash it. That's exactly why I put it in the chat. As soon as I put it in the chat, Katie was like, "Yep, we're gonna talk about that," and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to just crush her dreams all the time."
Like you always do.
How you doing, my man Tom Hardy? Like
I
that?
I love Tom Hardy. I love Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
Don't get me
I-
wrong.
I'm not.
Like, Venom is
feeling
not
that.
a good.
I
Venom
thought
is
John
not a good
Bernthal was
movie.
your guy.
Listen, before John Bernthal, there was Chris Evans and Tom Hardy. All right.
Oh,
Those were-
Bernthal's late to the party, is what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. John Bernthal was late to the party. That was Punisher. But back in the Fantastic Four era, and when Tom Hardy was just coming out in Lawless and Dark Knight Rises, it was like, who are you?
I am Brain. I am the evil Brain.
Y'all joke about Bane, but he was the fantastic Bane.
Thank you. High five there.
agree. You have my permission to talk now.
And then we moved on to
Well-
the Venom.
Well, I will say that
What?
if we want to talk about terrible accents, right? Like
Yeah.
I love Tom Hardy, but Tom Hardy needs to only do English accents. He cannot do American accents.
Thank
Like,
you.
That was one of my problems with Venom too. Was his American accent.
But I will say that, like, when I first saw the original Venom trailers for the first movie, I wasn't excited. I was like, I am only seeing this because Tom Hardy's in it. And then I went to the movies and I was like, I think it's an okay movie. Like, I'm not sitting there and saying, like, it's MCU level. I'm like, I was entertained, right? So when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, I don't know. I love the odd couple thing. I was like, that's hilarious to me. Like, Eddie Brock just looking exhausted 24/7 because Venom is just a little shit, right? It's realistic. I just thought that was funny. Woody Harrelson is great in like everything, and the fact that they're just gonna let him chew the scenery probably in this and just be insane just looks amazing. But I don't want to take away from Katie as well because it seems like she also liked the trailer, so I'm happy to hear that.
You're preaching to the choir here. I'm 100% in agreement with you so far.
I don't know. I was like, I think this is great. Andy Serkis looks like he's going in a different direction. He's adding some humor to it as well as some badassery. And I'm sorry, I love the end of that trailer when the store clerk was like, "We ran out of chocolate," and Venom's like, "No."
Yeah.
I'm having a little bit
relatable.
of FOMO right now because I can't talk trash with Jonah about it. I can't say it. You guys are making
Well,
it
you
sound
can if
interesting.
you want. Like,
No, I
Okay.
haven't seen the trailer. So
I
I
stop crapping on things I love.
Jonah,
and
do you need
just
to-
enjoy it?
Jonah, take
Katie,
this
you crap
moment
on
to
everything
crap
I love.
I know.
on what Katie loves. Go ahead, Jonah.
Look, I just was not excited about it. It just wasn't. I'm still just so. I didn't love I didn't really care about the first movie at all. But me and KJ went and saw it because we were trying to be supportive of
And
Katie.
also, let me hop in here, Jonah, about how supportive we were of Katie. This was our kind of nerdy out, kind of nerd, mad.
My nerdy night
This
out.
was our kind of nerdy night out series, and we fought Katie on Venom because we didn't
Yeah,
want to
we
go
did.
to Venom, and she was like, "You have to go to Venom," and so we made it a kind of nerdy night out, and then
She didn't even go.
Katie
She didn't
didn't even go, and so
I never go.
Jonah and I are sitting in this Venom movie so mad because we didn't want to be here, and Katie, we did it for Katie, and she didn't show up. So
It's
we
like
were,
the time I left Mike at the movies.
we
Yeah,
were.
she let me and Mike at the movies.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a whole thing. So we were, I will say to you that Jonah and I were sitting in that theater before the movie even started.
Just mad.
Mad.
Well, again, I went in with like super low expectations because I'll full on admit that those trailers did not like get me hyped at all. And I was mad that they didn't get me hyped because I wanted to be into it. So when me and my boyfriend Paulie went to go see it, I was like, I don't know. I liked that for what it was. Like, yeah, there were things that need to be tuned up, but I liked it. So I guess since I liked it now, my maybe hype is a little bit more for the second one, but I'm still going to temper my expectations so I don't go in there like it's going to be great and then it's terrible. So it's like,
Yeah,
I'm just
you're not
gonna
gonna Jawan the whole thing and like
No.
have like 50 different theories going into it and none of them
You
come
know
true
what's-
and then be pissed.
You know what's the great thing about being someone who doesn't read comic books? I have no expectations.
I'm totally surprised by anything that
I'm
happens.
totally surprised. I'm like, this is great. Awesome.
You know, and I might actually give Venom, the new movie a try. I might go back and actually watch Venom because I love Andy Serkis. I mean,
Yes.
he is.
Like a Johna, she's like, nope.
Yeah,
I'm not going
just so I have context, because I mean, if Andy Serkis is in this, I'm gonna give it a go because I think he's absolutely like just brilliant. I love.
Well, and
his-
I do love Woody Harrelson too. So maybe there are some
Listen,
things here.
It's not going to be worse than the Snyder cut. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're back. Full
This week
circle.
on Trash and DC. Trash and DC. Trash and DC.
Snyder
All right.
Cut sucks, am I right?
Yep. It's week
You guys-
2 of Trashing DC, and the clock shows Zack Snyder still sucks.
Oh my
well,
gosh.
did you guys see that he said that WB was bullying him and he had a terrible time and blah, and I was like, I'm sorry, you're a director getting like millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to remake a shit that came out
Hundreds
for you.
of millions.
Here's the
Come
thing.
on.
You already had the source material. How did you mess it up? They gave you the blueprint.
Here.
They're like, here's all the comic books. Here's what happens.
And he's like, I don't like any of that.
Look,
Yeah.
this is what he did. He read the Spark Notes version of all the comics and was like, I got it.
This is his book report after he didn't read the book.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh, Darkseid is just a menacing looking thing. Okay, I'm just gonna have him stand there. And it's like,
Yep.
Knights of Rennet. Yeah.
Yep.
I got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
Who's this guy? Oh, yeah, you're so big and bad on the other side of that portal, aren't you, buddy? Yep. Go ahead. Come over. Oh, you don't? Oh, yeah, that's right, because you're a puss. Stay back over there.
How
Come
do
on.
we show we're intimidating?
You guys, at this point, I am just imagining listener Jim being like, they made it through a whole podcast
Oh,
without
sorry, Jim.
trashing DC.
Hell no. I was waiting to
Right,
throw that
right,
graphic
right.
up so hard.
He's like,
Listen here, Jim.
no,
Sorry about you.
Jim.
Yep. DC still sucks.
Sorry,
Still
not
sucks.
sorry.
In other news, DC still sucks.
We
More
do
date.
need- I'm thinking that what we can do is we need to get a counter from the day that Snyder Cut came out. And even if we have nothing to say, we can say it's like day 216 and the Snyder Cut still sucks. That's how we have it. Like,
Yeah, since we last trash talk DC, 0.
Right.
is there anything else? Open discussion here. Anything that you came here to talk about that we did not get to?
Oh, I finished watching Invincible.
Oh, you did.
I did.
Okay. Where are you
really
at with
good.
it? Is it good.
I loved it.
Okay.
I absolutely loved it. I hope that there's a season 2 because it was
Alright.
fantastic. It's so
Katie,
good.
anything else? You're taking notes? Are you taking
I don't know
notes?
what Invincible was, so I was googling it.
Oh, okay.
It's
I'd say that was a Mark Wahlberg movie, right?
no.
You mean the burger restaurant people?
It's an animated series on, and I was listening to our episode from last week, and I said that it was on Netflix, and it's not. It's on Amazon Prime.
You lied.
Oh, how dare you.
lied.
Prime. But
Also,
it was
Johna,
so good.
I'm going to go to Tia because I know she has one more thing, but I am recalling at the end of the last episode that you wanted to defend yourself over something, and I don't remember what it is. So if it happens to pop in your head, let me know. Otherwise, go back and
Otherwise,
listen.
shut up is what she's saying.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
you didn't deserve to defend yourself because you didn't even remember what you were going to
Yeah.
defend yourself over.
I
Yeah.
just listened to that episode too. Oh my god.
All right, Tia, what you got?
My one last thing, and it's quick. Did you guys see the picture of Jensen Ackles and his beard
Oh
and
my
long
God.
hair for the boy?
Dude.
Oh,
I'm
you know
sorry.
what? I
What?
You
Oh,
love
Katie.
it up, Katie.
You got to pull it up. It's so horrifying.
Katie, I demand you Google it right now because you have to have it in your brain
Oh.
like we do. Yep.
What is this?
Yep.
I'm so shocked because the thing is, like, All right, I stopped watching Supernatural after season 11. So that's 11 seasons of seeing like Jensen Ackles with his like hair, clean face, looking some
Even
way.
yeah.
his light scruff is fine.
Just on point,
Yes.
right? He's
On
always on
point.
point.
And then it's like, okay, so now what? So I guess this is what Soldier Boy is going to look like. And I'm like, okay.
That's not the Soldier Boy I know.
It looks like, really quick in Black Widow, David Harbour as the Red Guardian, where they're like, oh, like here, he's
like a bowl
the same
cut with a
look.
beard.
Yeah, it's like, but the suit still fits, right? Yeah.
For those of you who haven't seen it,
It's like a bowl cut.
think about Will Ferrell and Milk was a bad choice. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he
That's-
looks
I mean,
like a
literally,
complete hobo.
It's
They're like,
terrible.
how do we bring in Jensen Ackles but not have him physically upstage Anthony Starr and all the and Carl Urban and
How
Jack
do we make
Quaid?
Jensen Ackles slightly worse?
Yeah.
Well, and we did a deep dive into this on the Kind of Nerdy Night in last night about whether or not that was like that's Jensen Ackles growing a beard or if they like put it on him. And apparently there is some footage on YouTube that confirms that is his
him
facial
posting,
hair.
like it's the progression, like that's him legit. That's like
him
his
growing
legit
it.
beard.
I'm sure they like did something or put something in it because his beard, like his hiatus beard for when he's doing Supernatural and stuff, like it was. My
Baby,
boy was
no.
looking real fine with that beard. Okay.
No, baby, no.
Oh, no, baby. What is you doing?
No, baby, no. As someone who only watched like 4 seasons of Supernatural, this is atrocious.
You're like, oh no.
Yeah, and it cannot be unseen.
No.
It cannot.
the
No.
bowl
And
cut
it
like
makes
makes it
me-
worse. Like if it was just the beard, okay, or if it was just the bowl cut, sure, whatever. But
Oh,
like
yeah.
The
combined,
combination.
Double whammy, dude.
And
You're welcome.
you
honestly,
better shave him.
it makes
at, like,
me
first
less
scene.
excited. I was so excited for The Boys season 3, and now I'm in a place where I'm like, not as excited for season 3.
I need pretty Jensen. Jensen's always got to be pretty. Come on.
Why did you
Yeah,
guys even cast
not even
Jensen
pretty,
if you're not
like,
gonna make
right?
him pretty?
You could have put someone else in there. Why would
But
you do that
see,
to us?
Jensen Ackles has like this amazing smolder about him. Like
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
smolder with that look
We
at
have to
all.
detract from the blue steel.
Right.
The only thing that I have some hope for with this is that does Soldier Boy come into The Boys like in a bad space in his life and like they find him and he's all a mess and terrible, like about to like, give up on life. And then they do the montage and turn him into the clean shaven.
God, I hope so.
Like that's what I
You
want.
got
I
a
want
little
the,
bit of
makeover
I want the
montage.
You got a little
montage
bit
where
of
they fix this.
Even a little bit of stubble would have been good because it's
Yeah.
like you see him from like season 1 where he looks very young, and then the last season where he's like older, he's gruffer looking, he has like
Mhm.
stubble. It's like, why wouldn't you just take advantage of
Why do you
that?
take
Yeah.
everything I love and just crush it?
Why are you crushing my dreams?
Give me my montage where Starlight is fixing that Soldier Boy in The Boys season 3, and I'll be okay. But if
She
I
just
don't
takes out some scissors and is like,
yeah, yeah, we got a nice 80s song playing, like I'm
Love
just
it.
like so.
I still hear Team America, like the montage.
We need a montage.
no, all I'm imagining is, did you guys ever see Not Another Teen Movie where they
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
they
Yeah.
just take the hair tie out and take the glasses off, and she's like,
Oh,
"There, my work is done."
If only.
That is my only hope for this, is that we're getting that sort of makeover of Soldier Boy. Otherwise, it's going to be really, really rough to
Yeah.
deal with this Jensen Ackles beard thing.
Mm.
Okay, Tia, tell everybody where they can find you, because everybody loves you and they should be able to find you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Please make sure that you check me out on Twitter and Instagram at TC_Stark. You can also check us out. GeekVibesNation.com has links to all of our social media platforms. We just hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, Geek Vibes Podcast. So, yeah, come check us out.
Very cool. And what's your top 10?
Our top 10 actually last week was the top 10 Tom Hardy roles. So,
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Dunkirk better be on there.
uh,
Uh-oh.
It got maybe an honorable mention.
That's it. I'm not watching.
I'm sorry. Katie just unsubscribed from your podcast.
But Johna will be happy that we also did the top 10 best animated shows, and Invincible was on it. So.
Hey,
This
so good.
So Tia was so kind after last week. She reached out and talked about wanting to have us on a top 10, and asked for topics. But I'm just like, I don't know what I would do that's a top 10 other than like
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. Like,
We can do that though. We
Can we
haven't
do?
done a top. We haven't done a top 10 Chris Evans roles yet. We've done John Bernthal, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Scoot McNairy, Tom Hardy. I don't know. I don't think we've done Joel Kinnaman yet. He may
sign
be
us
next
up,
as well.
Chris
So yeah,
Evans. That's
Chris
our top
Evans.
10.
There
Sign
we
us
go.
up. All right. Now we don't do a lot of prep for this show here, so I feel like you're gonna have to give us some time to prep for. Who decide? Does everybody come up with their own top 10?
No, so this is the thing is that we do, so it's mostly Brittany and I, my co-host, so we pick 5 each. And so it's like, she gets number 10, I get number 9, number 8, number 7, number 6. So we kind of go like that.
Okay.
And then we
Okay.
always ask people to have like honorable mentions just in case like I pick something that say you were going to put. We don't like
Okay.
telling each other beforehand
that's
what
fine.
we pick, so
Okay.
it's like a surprise.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Fine. Okay. So we're going to work on that coming soon. The top 10, Chris Evans. Whew, this is going to be
Excited.
fun. Oh my gosh. And you know what? This works out
AJ's so
perfectly
excited. Look at her
because
little
it's going to
dance
be
she's doing.
leading us into Christmas.
Oh yeah,
in
Tia, you have to join us for Christmas.
Yes! The tree's going up. We're having Christmas in July.
Yes.
The second
Oh,
annual.
no.
It's happening. We get to
That just looks so mad.
He hated this last year.
Well, this will be great, Tia, because it can help us. We do the 12 days of Christmas, so we can do the top 10 plus a couple honorable mentions, and we'll do our viewing party in July.
So you guys
Yeah.
better prepare for July. We are
Oh,
doing the top 10 Chris
Just,
Evans roles.
just wait for the
Can't wait.
ornaments on the tree this year. You're gonna love it.
You are
I'm
not
moving
putting.
into KJ's house in July.
You will not hang the crank on my Christmas tree.
Hey,
You
I'm
have
just
to
saying.
hide it.
No, that's
You
not.
guys
in a box.
find it.
Yep.
You
I'm
gotta
gonna.
find it amongst the bush.
I'm gonna get. I'm not okay with this. Not okay with this. I'm gonna get the invisible fence. I'm gonna get the invisible fence, and I'm gonna put a collar on you. And every time you try to put the crank on the tree, it's gonna shock you. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. All
I'm
right,
not
then-
allowed over KJ's house now.
No, no,
You are 100%. We gotta work this out.
I don't
Tia.
know where you're staying for popcorn, Tia, but it's not anywhere near my Christmas tree.
Stay at my house, Tia.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. You can find all things with our podcast, The Kind of Nerdy Dudes, our Facebook group, The Kind of Nerdy Network, just by going to Kind of Nerdy Network Tech. You never know what's going to happen here. I hope that you listen to the entire show because honestly, the last part was the best part. Thanks for being here. We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
Join the Nerdy Girls Podcast.
The Kind of Nerdy Girls are proud to be a part of the Just What I Needed network, and we certainly hope we were just what you needed. To support the show, you can get yourself some merch and show off that you are kind of nerdy. Go to kindofnerdygirls.com and click on the Kind of Nerdy shop. And while you're there, you can also support the show by getting access to behind the scenes footage, videos of our podcast, and never before heard episodes from our classic Kind of Nerdy vault. Just become a patron at kindofnerdygirls.com.